guys, welcome back. So today I want to show you what my get home bag is. I talk about having truck guns and get home bags quite often in video. I think it's probably about time I show you what one of my typical get home bags looks like. This is my Maxpedition gear slinger. It's a single strap bag. Maxpedition makes really nice stuff, guys. It's adjustable. You can quickly get out of it if you need to. I really have become a fan of these single strap bags. But what you're going to notice is this is a relatively nondescript bag. It's not camouflage. It doesn't scream military. It doesn't scream gun. It doesn't scream anything other than a backpack, supplies, okay? And that's what I'm trying to convey. If something goes wrong and I need to get home, power goes out, natural disaster strikes, whatever it may be, I don't want to draw a whole lot of attention to myself. I'm not going to deck myself out in multicam, and I'm not going to walk around with a backpack that screams attack me because I probably have weapons. So that's why I have this Maxpedition bag, and this is one of several that I have. I'm going to quickly go over what I have in this bag just to give you an idea what my typical get home bag looks like, but then I want to talk about the firearms that I use in my get home bags. So let's start off with going through what's on this outside pocket. In here I have a little flashlight, nice and bright. A sewage sucker, these are really handy. This will give you the ability to drink water out of a creek, water on the side of the road, whatever. Water is obviously quite important. And then I have a little Leatherman multi-tool here. All right. Bring this stuff back in here very quickly. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time going over the bag, but I just want to give you guys a general idea of what I have. And here I have a fairly comprehensive first aid kit. It has tourniquets and all sorts of things in here that will help you patch yourself up should you have a moderate to minor wound. And also, it's kind of funny, I'll have night vision in the bag as well, typically. All right. And let's see, on this top pouch here, have some 550 cord, spare ammunition, and a head-mounted light. These are really handy for when you're walking around and you need to see what's going on. All right. Close this one back up, and then let's get into the main compartment. Now this Maxpedition bag is really nice because it has all sorts of compartments and has quite a bit of room to store things like this. Now this thing is by no means filled to its capacity either. And there are other times I may have things in here that I don't currently have in here now. So in this compartment, which can be buckled, all right, so you can secure these two major compartments on either side. On this side, I have some CLIF bars for a food source and a suppressor. On the inside of this one, I have a zipper pouch that you can kind of see through. And in here, I have shelter halves, Mylar, and blankets. All right, you never know if it's going to get cold or if you're going to need temporary shelter. Over here, I have a fire starter and just a standard old compass. You never know if your GPS is going to go down, so you better know how to use a compass. All right? So that's pretty much everything non-weapon related. I took my pocket knife out of here recently. Actually, my kids did. I don't know why they did that. Little farts always going through my stuff. But I typically keep a pocket knife in here as well, but I also always have a pocket knife on me. All right? So the pocket knife that I typically keep in here is a backup. All right. Zip that back up, and now let's get to the weapon. Now this little Maxpedition is a fairly small bag, but it's still big enough to carry the MPX. Now there's quite a bit of room in here. I've taken the magazines out because I've been playing with them. I also will say I have a couple bottles of water in here. But the MPX is fairly well suited for a bag this size. You can see it's a relatively small bag. All right. The MPX has a side folding brace on it. I've chosen to use a brace because if it were an SBR, I would have to file paperwork to take the gun out of state. With the brace, if things go sideways, the last thing I'm going to worry about is ATF regulations about whether or not I can shoulder something like this to defend my life. If the lights go out, zombie apocalypse happens, whatever, I don't give two poops what the current federal regulations are governing braces, okay? So this gives me the ability to have a 9mm carbine should I need it in a very bad situation. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about this gun in particular and why I may not be able to use this gun in this bag anymore, because I went to the NRA show and they had something there that I was really interested in. SB Tactical rolled out a brand new brace system for the MPX series of pistols. Sadly, it adds a couple inches to the overall length of this gun, which means it will no longer fit in the bag, but it adds some pretty cool functionality. So let me take this brace off, put the new brace on, and show you what I'm talking about. This is the new SB Tactical brace system for the MPX that I saw at NRA show and was lucky enough to finagle one away from Alex. And this we're going to put on my MPX. Now I've already gone ahead and taken the side folding brace system off, and you'll notice that the MPX pistol has a 1913 rail here on the back, and that's how you attach things. So to install this system, it's really simple. I'm going to go ahead and push the takedown button, take the brace system off. Now I can slide this down over. All right, just slides down. What you're going to want to do is line up these tube holes with these recesses here on the receiver, because the brace system, when it collapses, has to ride inside those little runners. All right, now I'm going to take a Torx head. Now they got everything somewhat lined up, and just simply tighten it down. And once it's snug, it's going to stay in place. Okay, now as you noticed, there are two positions to this brace. If I push the button and pull it a third time, it'll come completely off. You can stop it from coming completely off with this little screw that's right here in the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the brace arm back in, push the button, slide it in, and now I'm going to switch bits here really quick and tighten this little guy down. And once he's tightened down, now it won't come off when you fully extend it. So there you have it, guys. This is what it looks like collapsed. Yeah, you got this little sling swivel down here. I have to say that that's kind of annoying. There it is collapsed, and to extend it, you just push the button, pull it out 2 clicks, and you have it extended. Now it's meant to be used with your cheek, or it has the Velcro strap, just like the original brace system, where you can put your arm in here. It's got a little bit of bungee on it, all right, so you can strap it around and tighten it down, and now you can shoot it as a braced pistol. And I'll admit, it's a bit awkward, but it is a brace. All right, and there you go. Now, the downside, as I mentioned, is that it will no longer fit in my bag, because this, where the original side folding brace came out to about here where my finger is, this one obviously is 3, maybe even almost 4 inches longer, so it no longer comfortably fits in the bag. No matter what I do, it just isn't going to fit. Right, I just kind of sort of maybe squeeze it, but it's going to poke out here on the bottom, and eventually that's going to wear a hole in the bag. So that means either I'm going to have to find a slightly bigger bag, because I do like this new brace system, or I'm going to have to put a different gun in here. So let's do away with this bag. Do a little bit of shooting with the MPX with the new SB Tactical brace system on it. This new SB Tactical brace system that's collapsible looks an awful lot like the actual stock system that Sig manufactures and sells for their MPX SBRs and submachine guns. So it looks like it belongs on the gun. Now again, right here is the button. You push this with your finger and pull, and it'll pop out once. Push it again, it'll pop out twice to its fully extended position. And now I'm going to take, where is my little suppressor? I brought out my Optimus suppressor. It's still configured as a handgun with a tri-lug. I have a tri-lug adapter here on the MPX. I'm going to go ahead and stick that on there. And we have some supersonic 115 grain ammunition. We're going to go ahead and shoot that. Stick that in there, drop the bolt, and now she's ready to shoot. Now here's the thing. No, the law hasn't changed, or should I say the interpretation by the ATF of the law. The ATF still says that you can't put this thing in your shoulder. So what people are doing is firing it from the cheek, which you'll find is surprisingly stable, and I can still score hits at 100 yards doing that. Very stable. Or you'll find people, this is your shoulder, folks. This is your chest. You'll find people shooting it like this. Now this makes it a bit awkward with the red dot sight because you have to hold it fairly high on your chest. Again, it's not in my shoulder, high on your chest, but you can still get a sight picture and fire the gun. Now I think the chest is a little bit awkward. I mean, you can certainly get used to that. You might want a slightly higher riser if you're going to use the chest fire method, but I've become quite accustomed to just shooting the thing off my cheek like this. So, extremely effective. It stabilizes the gun just as if you were putting it in your shoulder, but you're just touching it to your cheek, giving you that third point of contact. So, overall, pretty darn slick. Push the button, and you can collapse the whole brace system for storage. Now, I will say that the side folding brace system is much faster to deploy and a little bit easier. With this, when you push the button, the first time it comes out, it's going to go to that first. I actually got to slide all the way out. It typically wants to go to that first position, which is too short for much of anything. It might be okay for cheeking it, but typically I just want it to go all the way out. So it looks like if you just push the button and let gravity do its thing, it'll drop all the way out. Well, another thing I've noticed is that if you listen, there's just a little bit of movement. I don't know if you can see that. It's ever so minor. This is an early production sample. This is what they had at the NRA show. What Alex was telling me is that they're going to change the diameter slightly of these tubes, and so this minor amount of movement should be reduced even more. I don't think it's all that bad. Oh, and another thing is you're probably wondering how to sling it. Now this is a first generation gun, so I don't have key mods out here. I have to use the rail sections that Sig sold with the guns, but I can run a single point on this. This is my Savvy Sniper sling, and right here on the bottom of the receiver of the MPX, you have a mount hole for a QD swivel, which then allows you to go ahead and run it as a single point sling. Some of the most serious testing we do here on the Military Arms channel is hip firing 80s style. And the ATF hasn't said a word about using the brace in this manner. So it's 100% legal as far as I know. Come with me if you want to live. Oh yeah, it works just fine. So if you want to hip fire your braced pistol, go for it. So you guys are probably asking yourself right now, if you're not going to use the MPX in your Maxpedition bag, well, which gun are you going to use? Well, the answer's in the video I posted yesterday. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to use this bad boy. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, if 50 rounds won't do it, nothing will, and that's the SGM 50 round drum. This thing's a heck of a lot lighter than that MPX too. There we go. Put a little safety on it. Ready to go back in the bag. Leaves me a lot of extra room too. Don't forget, guys, come July 13th, 2016, U.S. trust law with regards to NFA items is going to change under proposed regulation changes 41F. What does that all mean? It means people on trusts will now have to submit to background checks, whereas currently they don't have to. That means wait times are going to go through the roof. They're certainly not going to get any shorter. Individual transfers, non-trust transfers are taking about 9 to 12 months. That's what we're going to see happen to trust transfers. So if you want to get a trust and get your paperwork started before the deadline, now's the time to do it. And you can go by Silencer Co.'s website and apply for their Easy Trust for $129. As a matter of fact, they're running a special right now before the July 13th deadline. If you use the code ETRUST10, you can get an additional $10 off. Now's the time to do it, folks. I really am enjoying my Optimus suppressor from Griffin Armament. That's what I have on my MPX right now. Now check this out. You're not going to be able to do this with too many 9mm cans. I have it set up with a tri-lug adapter. It's on the 9mm carbine. I'm going to fire a few shots. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make the weapon safe. Clear that round that's in the chamber out. Put it back in the magazine so I don't lose it. That's just some brown bear ammunition from Lucky Gunner. All right, now I'm going to take my tri-lug suppressor off, push and turn. I'm going to grab another gun from a recent video. This is my VZ58 Tactical. Has a 14x1 right-hand thread, complete oddball, but thankfully CNC Warrior makes this adapter right here, and Griffin Armament makes a tri-lug adapter for 5/8x24. Now, I'm going to put my 9mm can on a 7.62x39 with some good old-fashioned Tula 123 grain ball. Don't try this with your regular 9mm can, folks, because you'll probably blow it right off the end of the gun. Yeah, that is pretty frickin' cool. It's gonna be a little too hot to take off. Oh yeah, that sucker's toasty. But check that out, guys. Straight from 9mm to 7.62x39. You can put that tri-lug adapter on a 300 blackout, which it's really better suited for in this short configuration. But you can also add a spacer to it and make it even more quiet by adding more volume to the can and still use your tri-lug adapter. I'm telling you, man, that Optimus can is pretty darn cool. I'm very happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed coming out to the range and checking out the new SB Tactical collapsible brace system for the MPX pistol. This thing looks right on the gun. It looks just like the stock that Sig sells for the submachine gun or the SBRs. It's very narrow, still functions as a brace, and is collapsible. Push a button and it collapses. Very cool overall design, and like I said, it looks right on the gun. The guys at SB Tactical are working in conjunction with Maxim to bring this thing to market. When I saw it at the NRA show, they also had it available for AR-15 pistols. They let me come home with this one to play with it and give them some honest feedback. The only thing that I can really say is I'd like to see these tubes that are steel here increased in diameter just a little bit to minimize even more that ever so slight wobble that's in here, but it's nothing bad. I mean, I'm just nitpicking at this point. But they did say they're going to increase the diameter of those rods ever so slightly. And the other thing that's kind of awkward is this sling swivel right here, which is meant for a strap sling. It does like to stay in the upward position. If you do that and try to collapse your brace, it won't lock in the completely collapsed position because it likes to stay up. Also, if you are a strap sling kind of guy who still uses strap slings these days, but if you are, if you put a strap sling on it, it's going to be inclined to carry the gun upside down, which is less than ideal or useful. So I'll probably try to pry this off there with a pair of pliers. But other than that, the system is rock solid. It's very well made. It's all metal with a rubber piece here. You can see how narrow it is. It looks just like the stock that Sig sells for the submachine guns or the SBRs, but it is a brace. They're targeting a $249 street price, which means that it's not all that expensive. It's a lot less expensive than some of the stock options I've seen on Gunbroker that people are manufacturing themselves and selling them for ridiculous amounts of money, like $400. So what a great idea this is. It's a nice brace system if you're looking to brace your MPX. And of course, I'm going to leave this one braced. And your guys were wondering why I didn't SBR this one. This is the reason. I knew this thing was coming. Let me show you something else. This is the new SB Tactical brace for AR-15 style pistols. It uses a standard extension tube, and it has a very popular profile to it. You'll notice it's much thinner, and it just looks right on the AR-15s. These should be coming here fairly shortly as well. If you guys have any questions, I usually stick around for the first couple of days after a video goes live to answer those questions if you post them down below. And if you don't already, please swing by and check out Copper Custom. It's our online store. If you want to support the Military Arms channel, it's the best possible way. Swing by, pick up a patch, or otherwise just shop at Copper Custom. And if you haven't already, please check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Let's see if I actually have a round in the chamber here. And let's dump this magazine. Cheek or hip? I'm going with hip fire 80 style. What is it I always say? This is the worst part of the day. I gots to go home now. See you guys.